Hey YouTube, how's it going? Staggering Dreams, sees right here. Um, it's Sunday evening, and I've been watching all the cars and coffee, model cars and coffee videos all day long, here and there, and I ran into Paul's from Left Coast Model Builds. Um, Basically, is a question how we manage our hobbies. Definitely, this is a hobby that I've done since I was a little boy. I've taken years off here and there. Basically, I've been away from it for about a year. And the previous year, I was off away from it for a few years. And before that, it was like 10 or 15 years. But I always been in the hobby. I sometimes I didn't build, but I would buy. And so I was a collector for a while. So this hobby it's one of those things that I do when I know I'm gonna be indoors, and I'm gonna, for the next little while, I know that my attention's gonna be inside. But there's a problem with that too, because my other hobbies, there's another hobby that I picked up about 5-6 years ago, is painting. So I paint a lot of landscapes and urban settings and watercolor. So I've been doing a lot of that for the last few years. And that's collecting a lot of types of paper, sketchbooks, watercolors, and that's a whole different cabinet, of a hobby. And I just this year I started getting into RCs. I had been in RCs in the 90s. I had a couple, got rid of them, and then just recently I got that bug right after Christmas, and I went and bought a few of them, and I was playing around there during the spring. And once it got too hot, I was like, no, it's time to stay inside. I'm not much of an outdoors type of person. I enjoy doing outdoor stuff, but my safe space is inside. I'll never run out of anything to do. I can never say that I'm bored, because if it's not model cars, it's either I go back to painting, or I'll do the RC thing, which I recently picked up. Another thing that I do, that I've been doing since I was a little boy, is I'm a musician, and that has been a continuous thing throughout my whole life. And so just last night I was out jamming with some cats. So it's a constant thing that I do with the music, and that's never gone. It comes and goes a little bit, here and there. It picks up more in the winter during the cold season, because a lot of the people that I jam with or something, they got their other stuff to do, and they're sometimes more outdoorsy than I am, so they go out and do things, outdoors. But once we're inside, that's where it happens. And that's always been my to-go kind of hobby, my escape from everything. And so has model car building. Model car is just, I started with model cars. Now, I started building models since I was a little boy, like maybe 8, 9, or 10 years old, around there somewhere. I don't recall exactly, but it was around that time. But I started with airplanes, and I had been building airplanes, collecting airplanes since that age, into junior high, to high school, and into college. When I went to college, though, I did completely stop, because I didn't have space for it. And but once I moved here to Utah, it picked up again, and I was building here and there, and so I collected, I could say, a couple thousand kits. There came a time where I got rid of everything, and I only kept a handful, maybe 20-30 kits. When I tried to get back into the airplane model building, I kind of found it kind of stale, kind of in a way where when it comes to like airplane building, tanks, anything that's military wise, it's always a thing that you have to build the model the correct way. You can't leave it up to your imagination. The only thing you leave up to your imagination is the process of how you're building it or whatever. But if you're building an F-16, it better have the right markings. It better have the right, color tones, and, or else, it's like, what's the point? So there's like really strict rules when it comes to the military seat, and it's cool. I enjoyed it. I live right next to Hill Air Force Base here in Utah, and we have a huge museum of vintage aircraft and things like that, which I've gone in there, and it's like a playground in there for if you're looking for a detail or you're looking for a walk around. I mean, it's pretty awesome. I have planes flying over my house constantly all day long. So and it's funny how living here for so long, you kind of know what airplane is flying through, but that's a different story. That's a different thing. But I discovered cars. I mean, when I was a kid, I think I built like a couple of cars. I remember my first one was, I think my first car was I can't remember if it was a Mustang, like a 65 Mustang, or it was a Ferrari Testarossa. It was one of those, I know the Ferrari was one of those tester kits. And the Mustang, I can't remember exactly, but it was either or. But when I try to get back into really back into building, I tried to get back into the airplane scene, and I just couldn't, like I said, I couldn't find it. I could not. It's like that mojo was gone. Like, it's like, wait, it's like, I got to stick to the rules again. And then I started watching YouTube, and I ran into a few new videos of new people. Some of them are still around, of, they were building their car models, and it sparked something in my mind. I'm like, wait a minute, it's like, this is something that you can do whichever way you want. There's no rules to it. If you want this color, you can do it. You can lift it, you can drop it, you can chop it, you can do whatever color, you can do whatever markings, whatever it is that you want to do. And so that pretty much, my mind exploded. It's like, okay, this is what I want to do. And I got into building cars. And that's only been like 7 or 8 years ago. And so I started my YouTube channel, and about seven years ago, maybe 8 years ago, around there somewhere. And so as for the balance, I believe that, I think that I'm a person that, like I said, I have too many things I can do. I don't get bored. If I'm not doing this, I'm doing painting. If I'm not doing painting, I'm practicing music. I'm doing something constantly. I don't get bored. I got an 8-year-old daughter that's very active. So during the week, she has activities, and I co-parent with her. And so it's kind of like a constant thing that I have to, she comes first, and then, my stuff comes second. But one thing that has always stayed consistent is the music. That's always pre-planned. If I have a paid gig or it's a planned jam for whatever, usually I stick to that schedule. But other than that, I also have a 22-year-old son. He's married. He's off on his own. He's into how would you say, he's into the he just bought a couple of printers, and so but he's into more of the cosplay kind of thing. He's building helmets and things like that, and so he's kind of gotten that from me. A couple of years ago, I bought a 3D printer, and I've been printing ever since. My day job, my 9 to 5 is basically I work in 3D, so I do a lot of photorealistic renders, and so I'm constantly in that 3D world. I sometimes build things, build displays for marketing purposes or things like that using CAD. So I'm kind of familiar with it. I haven't really delved into the engineering part of things with vehicles, so that's a little different. I mean, I built parts here and there for myself. I built a little transmission about a year ago in CAD, so I just challenged myself to see if I can do it because the part looked very simple, so I built it. And it's just that's my 9 to 5. So at the end of the day, I'm using the skills that I use during the day for my printing purposes because it kind of meshes in there. But other than that, I don't overcomplicate it, and I know just being single and just having my one responsibility, that's my daughter, pretty much, and like I said, I think it's difficult if you're juggling the whole family. I mean, there was a time where I was partnered up, and there was other kids involved, so I had to balance everything. It was hard. It's hard, but this is my escape at the end of the day. Some days I don't touch anything. I just stare at the parts. I stare at the model. I stare at the paints, and all of a sudden, it's like, okay, get to it, and I start, put my hands on. There's days that I just watch videos of you guys. So that's pretty much it. That's pretty much my little 2 cents on the subject. So thank you, Paul, for that question. I think it's a pretty good question. And this is a good way because I watched a couple of them already, people who have responded, and it's a good way to get to know people. And well, that's it. So I hope everybody has a good week. Thank you for all the subs. Thanks for the comments. Peace.